Hello YouTube again, this is Timaeus here with Marcus, and we gotta do his Subterror deck profile. Now Marcus, actually before we get into that, I want to ask you, how long have you been using the Subterror deck, and why do you like it so much?
I've been using them since they came out, so for about a little over a year or so, I believe. I like them so much because they're not like straightforward at all. They're tricky and work around flip summoning and really just changing the mechanics all the time with them, and there's plenty of ways to go.
Are you very excited for the upcoming Link Subterror monster?
I'm really excited. Its effect is really great, just goes great with the archetype.
Yeah. Alright, let's get into it.
Alright, so first up, we have Subterror Behemoth Speleologist. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, it's just the only way I know how to pronounce it. For this guy, you want to run 3 copies. His first effect, whenever a monster I control is flipped face down, I can special summon him face up in defense position. His second effect, which is his flip effect, when he's flip summoned, target one creature your opponent controls, change it to attack position. You can also drop its attack points to 0.
Nice.
Its last effect is that you can set this card face down, so setting himself face down, which of course allows for further chaining of the other behemoths. Next up, we have Subterror Behemoth Phospho Glacier. First effect, same as the last behemoth. When a monster goes face down, and I have no other face-up monsters, I can special summon him in face-up defense. His flip effect is when he's flip summoned, I can send one Subterror monster from my deck to my grave. And his last effect is the same as the last guy. I can set himself face down to allow for more chaining.
And so all the Subterrors can pretty much set themselves down?
All the behemoths.
All the behemoths? Okay.
Yes. This guy's good for another card, Subterror Fiendus, which is coming up soon. Because you send a card there, and then the next one will bring it back. Run him at 3, because he's pretty good attack, also good effect. Next card up is my personal favorite, Subterror Fiendus.
That looks nice. Just gotta drop it down a little bit to the lines. There you go.
Now, the first effect of Subterror Fiendus is while it's in your hand or on the field, and your opponent activates an effect, you can discard this card, set one face-up monster you control face down, negate the effect.
Wow, negate.
Second effect, which is arguably the most useful for this deck, is target one creature you control, set it face down, and then special summon one Subterror monster from your hand or graveyard. Of course, and with that effect, you can set itself face down. This is a good first turn card. You summon it, you activate its effect, set it face down, and then you can summon one from your graveyard or hand. And when you set it face down, you can chain behemoth effects off of it for even faster summoning.
I didn't even watch it. I know nothing about it.
Next up, we have Subterror Behemoth Steglomo. Stelgomo. Never get that right. So
And we all can't pronounce all of them right.
Yeah, they're really hard. So he has the standard behemoth effects, special summon when a monster goes set and I control no others, and for setting himself. His flip effect is the draw power of the deck. When he's flipped, I discard one Subterror monster and I draw 2 cards. I run him at 2. This card is also very good on attack and defense. He has 2800 attack, 2100 defense, which is pretty good. Unlike the others, which have relatively either low, he's the most balanced in attack and defense. Others really have really high attack and low defense, or really high defense and low attack. Next up is one of the more useful guys of this deck in terms of keeping your opponent down. Subterror Behemoth Ultra Mathis, standard Behemoth effects, and his flip effect is when he's flipped up, he flips all opponent's monsters face down. And then when he does that, he can, usually opponent's monster will have lower defense, makes for easy destruction of opponents. He also has 3,000 attack, which makes him just a good beater. Unfortunately, really low defense. Next up, we have Subterror Warrior. Now this guy is about a early mid-game to mid-game card. He's a useful target for Fossil Glacier. His effect is... Let me just read familiars to the effect. During either player's turn, you can send one Subterror monster from your deck to the graveyard, tribute this card and at least one other monster, so the total original levels tributed equal or exceed the level of the Subterror monster in the graveyard. If you do, special summon that monster sent in defense position.
Huh. So in a way, it sounds like you're ritual summoning another behemoth of some
Yes,
sort.
he is practically a ritual card.
Wow.
So that's his first effect, which is also a quick effect.
That's a quick effect?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's really good to get around any targeting effects your opponent may have.
Yeah.
His second effect is when a behemoth monster on my field is flipped face up, he special summons himself from the graveyard.
Oh, nice.
So he's really good to just keep plays going and keep mixing up what you're going on your opponent. Next up, we have Subterror Nemesis Archer. This card is pretty good. If you control a Subterror Behemoth and this card attacks a defense position monster, the defense position monster is shuffled into your opponent's deck. Its second effect, which is rather useful, I consider this card a second turn card, or rather, if you don't have many plays in your hand, it's always good to set this guy. When this card's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you special summon any Subterror Behemoth card from your deck, face up or down on the field. Next up, we have Subterror Behemoth Umastrix. Again, really bad pronouncing names. So, loaded with the standard Behemoth effects. Also, we have the flip effect. This guy is really good for getting rid of annoying cards because his effect, banishing cards without destruction effect. Level 7, so a lot of good rank 7s. If you get both of them on the field, you can go into some good plays. 2k attack. Next up, we have Subterror Behemoth Dragnossery. This guy I run at 1 because he's just a good card to get out once in a while, but not really an endgame card. His flip effect is that he protects your Subterrors from being destroyed by battle or card effects. Next up, Subterror Behemoth Voltric. This guy I like a lot. He has 3,000 defense. His flip effect is take control of one set monster your opponent controls. And so if you use him along with Ultra Mathis, he's really good. Again, 3k defense, so when he's set down and your opponent doesn't know or forgets and tries to attack him, they're in for a surprise. Alright, next we get into the other engines of this deck. I also run this deck with a little bit of Petal Leaf power. So first we have Prediction Princess Petal Leaf. Prediction Princess power, not Petal Leaf power. So first I have Prediction Princess Petal Leaf. I like this card just because when it's flip summoned, all your opponent's monsters are put into defense position, and they're locked in that position for as long as they're on the field. Next up, we have.
Wait, it just crossed my head. You said it locks that?
Yes.
They stay face down so long that card remains face up in the
face
field?
up defense.
Oh, okay, face up defense.
Yes.
But still, they stay in face-up defense so long she remains in the field.
No. For as long as your opponent monsters are on the field, they
okay.
can't change their battle position.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
Yep. So it's really good. Your opponent attacks it, triggers it, their monsters go to defense. Good for getting out
You
your
better
points.
pray that thing that was attacking it was a Link monster.
Yeah, that is in the new format. That is the downside to this card. Another option is to run Prediction Princess Koinma. That effect, when it's flipped, special summon one flip monster.
Nice.
That is level 4 or higher. Next up is the Prediction Princess Ritual card. Prediction Princess Torture. Its first effect is a quick effect. You can change the battle position of one monster on the field, either to face-up attack position or face-up defense or face-down defense position. Really good on either triggering your own effects or shutting down your opponents. Oh, its second effect is an end phase effect. During your end phase, special summon one flip monster from your graveyard. So when ritual summoning this, you would send flip monsters to the grave, and they'd come back on your end phase.
Nice.
Next up, we just have a good tech card, Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. When your opponent activates, opponent's monster activates. Wow, I'm stuttering. When an opponent's monster activates a card, activates its effect, destroy that monster.
I'm scared.
What's the other effect on this guy? Oh, also works on spell traps. Monster or spell traps, destroy it. Alright. Next up are the spells. First up is one of the most useful spells in this deck, Book of Eclipse. This spell, when activated, it's a quick spell. Sets all monsters on the field face down. All monsters your opponent controls also go face down. So this is good for triggering your own Subterror Behemoth effects, because your monster goes face down, they come out. During the end phase of the turn this card is used, your opponent's monsters all flip back up to their original positions, and your opponent draws a card for each one that was flipped up.
So it's got a card like that's a little bit risky if you don't get the right field.
Yes.
Because your opponent sounds like you get really plus from this.
Yes, they can it can plus both ways, sometimes more in favor of your opponent, but also is really good for just setting off Subterror chains, which I like. Next, we have the Ritual card for the Prediction Princesses, Prediction Ritual. Used to ritual summon Torture. So you have to send cards that equal level 9 or higher. Its second effect, which is pretty useful, is a graveyard effect. Banish it from the graveyard to search a Prediction Princess monster from your deck and add it to your hand.
A ritual card that searches for the ritual monster.
Yes. Next up is the field spell for this deck. Hidden City. This card is really good. When it's activated, you get to search for one Subterror monster. Its second effect is that you can change one Subterror monster from face down defense to face up attack or defense. And its last effect is during the battle phase, when your opponent attacks a monster I control, I can flip one face down monster face up and negate the attack. This is good for just setting off Subterror chains, because you trigger a flip effect at the same time you do this, while stopping your opponent's attack chain. This card's really good. I run 2, because other than that it gets a little bulky. You can run 3 and still have it be pretty good. Personal preference just has mine at 2. So we got Terraforming, search for Hidden City, search for one field spell card, add from deck to hand. Next, we have Subterror Cave Clash. This card, all Subterror monsters gain 500 attack and defense for each set monster on the field. This also includes your opponent's set monsters.
Ooh.
Its second effect, when I inflict battle damage to my opponent, I get to add one Subterror card, emphasis on Subterror card, other Subterror cards, except this card, and add it to my hand. Next up, we have Finite cards. I run this card because it makes the hand size for each player become 3. So you run this along with Book of Eclipse, and your opponent loses a lot of its plus. Because the hand size, they'll have to get rid of most of their hand at the end of the turn.
And for example, I just want to ask, because a little bit of ruling of a card like that.
Yes.
If, let's say, since the hand size limit is 3, so your opponent has 3, he draws into the turn, does he immediately have to discard like a card to get back 3 cards?
If it's activated before the end phase, so at the end phase it activates, this still kicks in and they'll have to drop down to 3 again.
Okay.
Next up are the traps. First we have Subterror Final Battle, the best trap ever. If you've ever seen Scrap Iron Scarecrow, this is about to sound familiar. When this trap is activated, after using one of its 4 effects, it goes back face down. Its first effect, change 1 set Subterror monster on the field to face up attack or defense position. Its second effect is change 1 face up Subterror monster on the field to face down defense position. The third effect, which I use for a little bit of OTK-ness in this deck, is really good. Attack and defense of 1 Subterror monster on the field become equal to its combined attack and defense until the end of the turn. So if you use this with someone like Ultramathis, Speleologist, or even Voltric, who has 3k defense, all their attacks now become 4k plus, which is really good. The last effect is that during this turn, Subterror monsters cannot have their effects negated. Really good card, run it at 3, you'll need them. Last up, we have Subterror Behemoth Burrowing. This is a pretty good card. I use it for most of its effects. Its first effect is banish a Subterror from your graveyard, and your opponent cannot target face-down monsters you control with any card effects. Its second effect, which is a graveyard effect, banish this card from your graveyard and change 1 face-up Subterror monster to face-down defense position. Its last effect is when it's destroyed in my possession. When it's on the field and destroyed and goes to the graveyard, I special summon any Subterror monster from my deck.
Alright.
That concludes the Subterror deck.
Alright, you guys are here. We're going to give one more shout out and a good round of applause for my man's here, Marcus. And we'll see you guys in the next video for Team Time Riders.